Hi, good morning. I'm just setting up my Facebook Live and my Instagram Live at the same time. So if you're watching me on Instagram, hi. If you're watching me on Facebook, hi. Good morning, Siobhan. Hope you are well. I am so excited to be doing this 5-day challenge with all of you around confidence and clarity. I have been reading and researching and studying and immersing myself in all of the practices that I do myself, and so much of the information that I've learned through courses and reading and mentoring and coaching, and I am here to share all of that with you, to give you a new look on life and to shift through fear to get more clarity and confidence over the next 5 days. So thank you very much for joining me. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Gail Berry. I am the founder of Blossom and Berry, which is an international teacher training organisation empowering teachers to teach baby massage and baby yoga. I'm also a mentor. I'm also a mother of 3 teenage children, and I'm also a co-founder of Love Support Unite, specialising in mother and baby wellness. So I love to share and I love to learn and I grow, and so I'm here really to help you to navigate some of the challenges that you might have in your business journey, whether you haven't even started yet, you've just started, or you've been going like me for 17 years, because that learning, that growing and that expansion never stops happening. And when you have an open mindset and you keep curious about how you can do even more in the world to make yourself happy, to make your clients happy, and to make an impact, that's when I believe you truly connect with your purpose and get that real soul fulfillment. So today's is the first part of our 5-day challenge. So the 5-day challenge is called Get More Clarity and Confidence. And today I'm going to be starting off with the big F word, and that is fear. And I want to talk to you today a little bit about where fear comes from and how you can navigate your way through it, because fear is a reality. There's no point in pretending that we are completely fearless and that fear doesn't play a part in our lives. As we will learn today, fear is actually our friend to some degree, but we've got to be able to understand when fear is good and when fear isn't so good, and how we can work through those self-limiting beliefs and those big kind of irrational, non-grounded fears, how we can shift through those to achieve what we want to achieve. So this is for you if you are a bit of an overthinker. So maybe you are someone who's thinking about starting your business, but you haven't done it yet because you've got all sorts of thoughts going around in your mind about what if this, what if that, I need to have this, I need to be ready, I need to do this. So if you're just starting, this is for you. But as I said, this is also for you if you're in your business and you're feeling like you're not taking action. So you feel like you've got a potential project, you've got a vision, you've got something that you really want to bring into the world, which will have a great impact for those around you and yourself, but you're not doing it because you feel stuck. Okay, and just to give you some just to make you feel that is completely normal, that most women that I work with have these 2 big blocks. One is around clarity. What should I be doing? What is the best thing that I can be doing right now to get me where I want to be? And the other one is, even if they know what it is that they want to do, is they then lack the confidence to actually step up and do it. So if you're having these two issues, they are actually from my personal experience the biggest blockers, and statistically from all of the research and the studies and the books that I've read, these are the 2 biggest blocks for entrepreneurs in all of their journey. Good morning, Cheryl. It's lovely to have you here. So this is to help you shift from overthinking into action. And it's to help you navigate your way through making the, and I'm going to put it in inverted commas, right decision. Because what we're going to learn today is that actually, today and over the next 5 days, actually there is not a right decision, just as there are not any shoulds around what you should be doing in your business. And it's all about truly connecting with who you are, what you want to see in the world and taking aligned, grounded action around that to give you the impact and the results. Now, I know that I make it seem really easy, but actually it is pretty simple and easy to do and to implement. The work around it can be a little bit more challenging, but it's in those areas where we challenge ourselves that we truly grow. So when you're doing these exercises, when you connect with these fears, when you have a big reaction, when a big emotion comes up, that's an amazing thing to celebrate, that you've been brave enough to go there and recognize what that is. And then it's about leaning into that and breaking it down and then overcoming it. So the good news is that you can do anything that you want when you have the right mindset. So a lot of the time it's about really connecting with what your mind is telling you and working out whether those thoughts are productive in taking you where you want to go, or whether they're actually blocking you and stopping you doing what you want to do. And a lot of people find that actually they're so preoccupied with the thought of where they want to go. And they might be doing lots of courses, you might be reading lots of books, you might be doing lots of online courses, you might be doing lots and lots of things and getting strategies in your mind. But your preoccupation with what you should be doing is actually stopping you from taking the grounded action that will actually get you to where you want to go. So a lot of this process is about getting out of your head, getting out of those stories and the self-talk, the limiting beliefs that are in your head, and getting into reality, grounding into reality and taking aligned action, because the results speak for themselves. And the more results that you see and the more impact you have and the more you celebrate that work, the more you'll see that anything is possible. Okay, and this is the strategy that I've used in my own business, and I've navigated my way through having no money, no experience, having very little time, having 3 children under 3.5, setting up a charity in Malawi, all of these things. I'm not any different to you. It's just I navigated my way through those challenges, through those fears to achieve what I wanted to achieve. Okay, so the good news is that by the end of the week, you will have some strategies to move through your fears and get that clarity and confidence, and I can't wait to see what happens. So I want to celebrate you for just being here today and taking action and recognizing that you have these blocks and wanting to get unstuck, because feeling stuck is one of the most disempowering experiences that you can have. And whether you feel stuck in your personal life or whether you feel stuck in your professional life, it blocks our energy, it blocks our flow, and it brings our vibration down. And then when our vibration is down, we have less energy, we feel less connected and energetic about life. It has a knock-on effect in everything we do. So I just want to celebrate you for being here. Siobhan's saying, oh, that sounds really exciting. It is really exciting. And everything that I do is all about helping you to connect to your goal with ease, flow, and grace, okay? So life is not meant to be hard. The struggle is not real. The struggle is 95% what's going on in our heads, and it's not actually what is happening in reality. And when we ground into reality and we get out of our heads and we take aligned action, as I said, everything starts to flow. So if you have experienced fears, that's all I want to say. I can really relate to that. Even with 17 years of experience in business, I still have fears. This morning, when I was preparing for this Facebook Live, I was feeling a bit nervous. I had a bit of a dry mouth. I was thinking, what do I need? And all sorts of stories are running around in my head about what if people don't like what I'm going to say? Should I really be doing this? Am I really an expert? Imposter syndrome, all of those things. And I became aware of those voices in my head, and I'm going to share with you some of the techniques that I use to enable me to push through those experiences of fear or anxiety, or basically getting out of your comfort zone. Because when we do something new or something challenging, is going to be like getting out of your comfort zone. And guess what? When you're out of your comfort zone, it feels uncomfortable. So what can we do to make that process feel more fun, more easy, more simple, and have more flow? Okay, so this is for you if you feel like you're doing too many things and you're not getting the results that you want. Also, if you're feeling like, just put this you to one side, sorry. Also, if you're an overthinker, so if you're a procrastinator, if you've got loads of things going around in your head, but you don't feel you're taking action on those, is also for you if you feel like you're not doing what you truly want to do, but you don't have the confidence to step up and actually do it. And that's the case for a lot of people. And I don't want your own self, your own mind to prevent you from reaching your full greatness, because the only person who's blocking you is actually you. Even if you think those stories and those ideas around you not being able to do something are coming from outside, ultimately they're being processed in your brain and you're running that program all of the time. So really, you can create whatever you want by just that subtle shift in your mindset. Also, maybe if you don't like what you're doing, but you're too scared, you're not confident enough to take the next step, or you're frustrated on one level because you know you can do something, you've got the experience, you've got the knowledge, but you're just not doing it because you're just scared of what might happen if you make all of this stuff real. And it's also for you if you're completely paralyzed and stuck right now, because that is probably one of the worst feelings that you can have. And like I said, it tends to eventually cause a lot of negativity, both in your mind, and also it can physically manifest as well. So you want to move way away from that negativity and start to get that positivity and that positive energy lifting and rising in everything that you do. So let's move away from all of these disempowering thoughts, beliefs and fears and move over to a much more empowering strategy. And you might have already tried just talking yourself out of things, like talking yourself around fears and talking yourself around your mindset, but sometimes you have to really do the work, because what you're up against is your brain that has been programmed pretty much from, well, some people say even before you're born. Your brain is being influenced by experiences, your hormones, your exposure to stress, your environment. All of these things make up our programming, and we're running that program 24/7. So if it's felt difficult in the past, again, I want to celebrate you for trying and also for being here now. And just know that sometimes you do have to do that deep work to change the program that you're running. And there's lots of ways that you can do that. It can be with professional help, but we're going to start here over the next 5 days with really simple strategies that will just start to give you the shift that will get that momentum to begin to flow. So let's have a think about where fear actually comes from. So as I said at the beginning, fear is actually our friend. Without fear and our fear-based, stress-based systems in our body, our sympathetic nervous system, which operates our fight or flight responses when we feel threatened, we may well not have evolved to the level that we are as humans. So fear is not always bad. Stress is not always bad. Stress and fear can actually save your life. They keep us alive. So I don't always want to see stress or fear in a negative way. But what happens when your overriding program is stress and fear, obviously that's going to have a really negative effect on your mind, your body, and your energy as well. So some fears are necessary. So when we think about where fear comes from, the first kind of fears we have are ones which are really essential to our survival. And they are fears around death, around avoiding pain, they're around security, they're around sustenance, they're about staying alive. So those fears are, we go through periods of our fear state and our relaxed state throughout the day, depending on what kind of experience you have right now. But it's really important to keep those in check, but some level of fear is really important. So that's where some of our fears come from, just our anatomy and physiology in the way that we're built. The second round of fear, the second place that fear comes from is our self-talk or emotional protection fears. So those are fears around failure, around rejection, around being embarrassed, around judgment. So these are all emotions that we have created to protect us from being to allow us to be socially accepted, to allow us to fit in, and to allow us to feel safe and secure on an emotional level. So the first ones are more about the physical, your survival, and the second fears is our emotional self-talk around self-protection. And these are often the little chattery noises and stories and voices that you hear in your head that maybe keep you feeling a little bit small, like you're not being authentic, like you're not speaking your truth, like you're not being yourself. Okay, so that's the second kind of category of fear. And then here comes the biggie. Okay, and this one is the real bass drop, big one to understand, and one that we kind of don't go there and we ignore. And that is basically the fear of the fact that, what would happen if you did it? I won't be able to handle what happens if I actually do what I want to do. It's the fear that I'm not equipped enough. I don't know what I'm doing enough. I can't handle what is in front of me. It's the fear that you're not ready, which is something which lots of my students say. So it's the biggie one. It's a huge, huge blocker, and it is really disempowering. And so that third level belief that you can't handle it, that you don't have the innate capabilities to achieve your full greatness, that is the one that is the big elephant in the room that we kind of ignore. Where does that come from? And that is the one that has the most detrimental effect overall. Okay, so we've got our 3 fears. Survival, we give a big thumbs up to that in small doses where appropriate. The kind of emotional self-protection ones, that's the mind monkeys, the self-chatter. They're not so good. We can learn how to turn those down. But then the really big one is, I can't handle what it is that I want to see in the world. I'm not good enough. Haven't got what I need. All of these things. And I'm going to be honest with you, I have had that many, many times in my life. So I am not a superhero who doesn't have that fear. And I will tell you where that comes from in a minute, so that you understand that, it's not your fault. It's actually a product of the society and the culture that we live in, and a lot of the stuff around the mindset programming you would have received as a child. Okay. So ultimately, if you knew that you could handle it, and that you did have the innate capabilities to do what you wanted to do, and that you have got all of the experience and knowledge and expertise, and you can take the action that you need to do. If you knew all of that on a deep, deep level, what would actually be stopping you from stepping up and doing what you want to do? It would be absolutely nothing, because there is nothing there to stop you. It is purely this big, self-limiting belief, fear. It's that all-encompassing dark shadow that comes over your rainbow and stops you from doing what you want to do. So once we become aware of how big that voice is, how big that power, that fear is, and the power it has over us, we can start to take action to turn the volume down and move that big black cloud away, so that we can step into what we want to do. Okay, so I'm going to later on give you some exercises to do around this, to really feel into, what would you do if you truly knew that you had everything you need, and you had all the innate capabilities that were required to achieve what you wanted to achieve? Because I would bet that you have them already. You have them in buckets full, and your potential to grow and expand, even in those areas that you don't have those capabilities practically, is huge. You can learn, you can grow, you can expand. So you're never stuck. You've always got choices. And this is what is so great about being a human being, is that we have self-will, we can create what we want to create, and we can always move ourselves. Even with things like illness, where it feels like we can't prevent that, we can still change our mindset around it. And that's why mindset is so important and so powerful. And one of the biggest things that I invest my time, energy and money in developing is having that positive, fearless mindset. Okay, so what is the answer then to this big fear that you know, what would happen if I did this? I won't be able to handle it. I won't be able to cope with it. I'm not ready. What is the answer to that? Because it's an actual really simple answer, and it's something that I work on an absolute daily basis, and it's probably the most powerful thing that you can do. And so the answer to the issue of this big dark fear is simply just to trust. Okay? Again, it sounds simple, but it's not always easy. Okay? But in essence, the antidote to fear is trust, because we don't know what the answers are. The boundaries are always shifting, and we have no control over what we do. So the only thing we can do is trust, and trust in our innate capabilities to achieve and to do what it is that we said that we were going to do. So using things like integrity and stating what it is we want to do and telling our friends and creating vision boards and taking all of these actions so that we begin to trust ourselves, because the biggest problem is that we don't trust ourselves. And because we don't trust ourselves, we fear. So maybe today you thought I was going to come in and give you, you know, your 5 life hacks for getting rid of fear, but it's much deeper than that. And developing a deep sense of trust and self-love is absolutely transformational and life-changing, not only in your business, but in every single area of your life, for yourself, for your relationships, for your family, for your clients, and for the world, that big sense of trust. So it's trust, and it's the ability to surrender to the fact that we're not in control of what we're doing. It's the ability to allow us to be led to where we need to go. And it's to stop the resistance, and it's to stop the fighting. And it's just to trust that you are enough and you have everything that you need. And it's a bit of a difficult one to accept. So if at the moment it seems too simple, then maybe you need to step away and think a little bit more deeply about how much you do trust yourself, because it's definitely something that I am working on. And many people who I know who are achieving greatness in their lives, it's all about the trust. So the first step to confidence, the first step to navigating your fears is trust, and it's also about self-belief. So like I said, understanding, hi Mel, understanding what is your greatness, what are your innate capabilities that allow you to succeed. And that's a self-belief. It's being your own cheerleader. It's celebrating yourself. You know, every single thing that you do, the fact that you got up this morning and you put on your clothes and you brush your teeth and you're moving around in the world, you know, these are things that we should be celebrating. It's the tiny micro moments of life. It's that self-care, it's that self-love. It's super powerful, and it feeds into your self-belief and how much you value yourself and how much you trust yourself. So I want to just talk about for a moment why don't you trust yourself? Okay, so, or maybe you do trust yourself. So in which case, I'd love to hear any comments and tips that you can share with us, because this is so huge. So I'd love for us all to support each other and lift each other up and rise into this mindset of trust. So let's think about why you don't trust yourself. So the first reason why we don't trust ourselves is conditioning. Because from the beginning of life, pretty much from birth, we receive messages such as, you know, don't do that, it's risky. Stay on the path, don't wander off. Don't touch, be careful. Don't do that, it's dangerous. So from the very, very beginning, our sense of trust is completely eroded by the conditioning that we receive from our parents, from our teachers, from our environment. So we have been conditioned from birth to not trust yourself. So if you're finding it difficult to trust yourself, it's because that program's been running for a long, long time. So and some of that is out of our control, and everyone has a different experience, and to some degree you just have to thank that experience and accept it, because it is what it is, and it's brought you to this place that you are here. But you can shift through and change that conditioning, particularly with things like NLP, hypnotherapy, CBT. So if you feel like that conditioning around trusting yourself is deep, there's definitely work that you can do there. So number one is conditioning. Number two is stories. So these are the stories that we tell ourselves on a daily basis around what we can and we can't do, what is safe, what is when people like us, stories around judgment, stories around I did this in the past and it didn't work out, so therefore I must be this, or he did that, therefore he thinks this about me and I think that about him, and all of these stories and basically just noise that we create around people's actions that largely are just simply not true, because my perception of a situation is one story, another person in that situation's story is different. So no story is ever real. It's completely created by your brain, and it's normally there to perpetuate your point of view and to justify your action. So our stories on some level are there to make us feel good, but on another level, they really make us feel bad. And those stories can be running 24/7 in your brain, and they can stop you from connecting with who you truly are and really stepping into your authentic self. And when you're not authentic, it's difficult to take aligned action, and therefore when you get to where you want to go, you look and you think, oh, actually that's not what I wanted at all, because you were influenced by these stories about what you can and you can't do. So that's where another level of distrust has come from, those stories. And like I say, that could be the radio playing in your head 24/7. So we need to learn to turn the volume down on those stories, or rewrite those stories in a different way, so that we are the hero of those stories and we're not always the villain. And then number three reason why we don't trust ourselves is mindset. So as I mentioned earlier, mindset is absolutely key to success, whether you're a sports person, whether you are a mum, whether you are a business entrepreneur, in anything that you're doing, mindset is key. And the more you read about different entrepreneurial journeys, you'll see that mindset is absolutely fundamental. It's probably the most influential aspect of everything that you do. And that's why I always very much invest in mindset personal development work, because when my mind is aligned with where I want to go, I pull in all of the actions that I need to achieve what it is that I want to do. So with your mindset, it will be questions around how capable do you feel of doing things? Do you recognize your own greatness and your own power to be able to create what you want to see in the world? And are you feeling positive? Or are you feeling negative on a very base level? So the more energized and excited you feel around a project and yourself, then the more that flows into your work, and it literally gives off a vibration which can be felt by other people around you. You know, we all know when you walk into a party and it's really buzzy and amazing, you just get excited and you want to get stuck in, you have a great time, all the people that you meet are really positive and buzzing, like it's infectious. So mindset is also very, very important too. Okay, so the reason why you don't trust yourself is because one of your conditioning, which to some degree we can't help, it's all around us, it's our parents, it's our schools, it's our friends, it's the media. The second one is the stories that we tell ourselves in our head, the radio that plays with all of those things about why things have happened in the past and why you can and you can't do things in the future. And the third thing is your actual mindset. Are you recognizing your innate capabilities, stepping into your greatness and doing that with positivity? So fear ultimately is really disempowering. I think that we've seen that. And so what I do, the number one thing that I do to shift me from this disempowered state is to create a very clear vision of where I want to be in the future. And then I take aligned action, i.e. I don't waste my time doing things that aren't aligned with that goal. And that goal is centrally aligned to my values and beliefs. So I know that it's something that I truly want and it means something to me. And then from that, I pull in all of the energy that I need to get that ball rolling. So I'll just say that again, that it's about creating a vision that really means something to you and is aligned with your values. Taking aligned, grounded action in a persistent and consistent way to get you there. And that process brings about the results and impact, which is really empowering. And that feeling of empowerment then flows back into your mindset and makes you realize what you're capable of, and therefore you continue to achieve. So it's it's a beautiful thing, because it's a self-nourishing cycle. And once you get into that positive mindset, then amazing things start to happen, things that you can't believe that you could achieve, and they just seem to drop into your life in the way that that you want them to, with minimal kind of grasping, and much more ease and flow and grace, which is the way that I always like to work. So what we need to do is we need to move, therefore, from fear into a place of trust. And trust is about love. It's about self-love. It's about love for the fact that we're all humans having a human experience, and that, you know, there's no definite guarantees in anything that we do. And I think a good question to ask yourself is, what's a bigger deal to you right now? So are you going to let your fear of failure, or your fear of not getting what you want, stop you? And is that going to have a greater impact on your life than the regrets that you might have at the end of your life, that you didn't do what you truly wanted to do because of fear? And I think it's really important to be reflective on that, you know, and think about, what do I want to be known for whilst I was here on the planet? Did I really truly do the greatest work that I could have done? Did I do the most that I could to make the world a better place? And when you ask yourself those questions really honestly, if you're not doing those things, then I would really encourage you to think about doing them, because we're only going round once. Time is precious and it ticks on, and regret is a difficult emotion to shift through. So it's better to act now with a vision and with alignment, and to get what it is that you want to do. So, you know, I think so I'm going to end this Facebook Live with a few actual challenges for us to do, because I've talked about taking action, and for me, it's all about getting out of your head and into aligned action, because that's where you actually ground all of the ideas, the visions, the dreams that you have. So this is going to be really important. So I'm going to give you 3 little exercises to do, and I'd love for you to comment here, or I'm going to put a link to our Nurture Nest, which is our open group. If you're interested in teaching with us, or if you are a teacher who's trained with somebody else, or you just want a bit of extra mentorship and coaching, and you can come into that group, and I'd love for you to post any experiences that you have as a result of this, and really to support and lift the other people up as well, because we're all in this together. So the first thing I want you to kind of think about, and if you've got a pen, you might want to jot this down. I also have written a blog on this, which I will share, which has these questions in as well. But the first thing to ask yourself is, what would you do if you truly knew that you couldn't fail? Now, maybe you've done that question before, but I really want you to think deeply into it. So what would you do if you truly knew that you couldn't fail? Okay, because this is about the big 3rd level fear. You know, we said when we think that we can't do things because how would we handle it? We're not enough, we're not ready, okay? And all of that is just mind talk. It is not reality. It is not reality at all. You are in reality, and you can make things happen. You can create what you want to see. So what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? That's the first one. Now, the second one is, I want to look at trust, how to develop your trust, self-trust. Okay, this is so powerful, so powerful. And so I want you to think about writing down 3 examples of where you have trusted yourself, and where you've navigated the unknown using your innate capabilities, and you've overcome challenges in order to be a success. Okay, so 3 examples of where you've trusted yourself, where you recognize your innate capabilities to achieve what it is you want to do, and where you've overcome challenges for success. Now, an obvious one, if you are listening and you are a mother, is birth. Okay, birth is a completely unknown process. We know, you know, if it's a first-time baby, you've not done it before, you don't know what to expect. You're looking at your bump and you're thinking, how am I going to get this baby out of my body? And even though you've done the anatomy and physiology, you just don't know. You don't know how you're going to react. And what we do in birth is we trust. We trust that our bodies and our breath will allow us to do the most amazing thing in the world, which is to birth another human being. So if you are a mother and you're listening to this, you already know that you can trust yourself because you birthed a baby and you recognized your innate capabilities as a woman, as a life creator, to birth that baby. You navigated the discomfort in some cases, or the long labor in order to do it, and you achieved the success. You had a baby at the end and you brought a new life into the world. So that birth is a total process of trust, and that's why I feel, for me personally, when I had my children, I really developed a deeper level of understanding of myself, more self-love, more trust, and inner knowing of what I was capable of doing because I trusted myself and my body. So that's just for you if you're a mother. If you're not, I'm sure there are many other examples of where you have trusted yourself and recognized your capabilities. And then I want you, the third thing is to really think about how you did that. So what it was that you did to trust yourself. What was the action that you took? What did you reflect on? What was the mindset that enabled you to achieve what it was that you wanted to achieve? What are those innate capabilities? I'm getting some great messages here on Insta Live. Sorry, I'm doing both at the same time. Danny's saying, I'm 37 weeks pregnant, so this is all very current for me. And Mel is saying, yes, you are so powerful, Danny. Yes, 100%. You know, trust yourself, trust your body, trust is just super powerful. So all of these three exercises are around grounding these fears that are largely in our head. Sometimes we feel them in our body, and that's even worse. But they're largely in our head, and then we're going to ground those fears into reality by getting super real and looking at how we can trust ourselves, what our innate capabilities are to do what it is that we want to do, because you are enough, you have enough knowledge. You don't need to do another course, you don't need to read another book, you do know it all. Like, all of this support and mentorship is so important for the hand holding. Just like a newborn baby can't, you know, get up and start to walk overnight, it needs the love, the support, the nurturing, the nourishment. That's different, that's mentoring, that's support. But if you're just literally being distracted by all these little shiny objects about how to fix yourself, the answer is actually really, really deep inside of you. Indigo Walker is saying no more shiny objects. Yeah, because I was talking about this the other day about how we often lose our clarity by trying to get those quick fixes and those hacks, whereas actually you just need to do the work. That's what it is, just do the work. So this 5-day challenge is about doing the work. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If anyone's got any questions, do type in now. Otherwise, as I said, I'm going to put the link to the Nurture Nest where you can join and put any comments or any experiences that you have in there. I've written a blog, which I'm going to share with you too, which has these main points in it. And I'd just love to know if you relate to anything that I'm been discussing with you guys today. And I just want you to know that you're just not alone. Like, it's the two biggest challenges in life are getting more clarity and getting more confidence. If you can nail clarity and confidence, or even move 1 millimeter more towards more clarity and more confidence, you will feel the impact in your life straight away. And that's what I'm all about, impact and making people's lives better. So I hope you have enjoyed this today. I've got some comments. This is amazing. Thank you so much for this. It's been a pleasure, and thank you for showing up and being here. So tomorrow I will be back at 9:30, and I will be talking about creating a vision. So I talked about how the antidote to fear is love and trust. Part of that is having clarity about where you want to go and creating that vision. So please do come along and join us. Another little comment here is, will I be talking about self-sabotage? Well, I wasn't going to, but I will be now because you've asked me. So I will definitely look into that again. Largely that is related to trust again. Because if you have a sabotaging thought, if you truly trust yourself, you'll say, thank you for that information, thank you for that thought, but actually I'm really busy here going this way, doing my vision, and I'm taking aligned action. All of that, like self-talk, self-sabotaging, it just slows you down, and it's a distraction. It's noise in your brain that takes you away from the clarity of where you want to go. Because what you'll find is once you're on that path and you are aligned, you will get into a flow so much quicker than you are when you don't have a vision. Because otherwise it's just literally like action here, action here, action here, action here, action here, and at the end of the day you look at where you've got and it's just nothing's happened and you're no further forward, and again it's disempowering and it's negative. So we want to avoid that with disaligned action. So maybe a good thing around that self-sabotaging kind of thought and mindset is to identify where the thoughts are coming from, what the story is related to trying to sabotage you, and breaking it down and challenging that story and actually saying, is that real? You know, if somebody else was saying things about you that weren't true, what would you say? Don't say that about me, that's not true, be quiet, or you'd remove yourself. Often it's your own head, it's you that is telling you, you are telling yourself those things. So in the same way that you would be boundaried and kind and polite about someone saying things about you that weren't true, you've also got to be a little bit like that with your own brain and your own mindset, and sort of be your own best friend and stand up for yourself. I know it sounds really weird, but our brains are, working on different levels on a daily basis. So hopefully that's a bit useful to you. Okay, I think that's it for today. So as I said, maybe go over to the website, sign up for our newsletter, because I'll be sharing this again later on if you want to do a little rerun. But it's been really fun hanging out with you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow for our session on vision. Catch you later. Bye. Goodbye to Instagram, and catch you later too.